Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Moss Co, and unfortunately, I let my gimbal die. So, sorry about the shakiness. I did wait all day until it was good timing. We are gonna do the May garden tour. This is usually my favorite because I feel like things look really beautiful right now. It is May the 4th be with you. Am I right? Am I right? We live in East Tennessee, gardening in Zone 7B. My name is Heather with the Moss Co, and we're gonna start down here at the raised garden vegetable bed. So let's go down there. So as you come down the driveway, we start right here. This is a Munstead Wood Rose. I did have a lavender here, but I killed it. And this is a blackberry bush that's supposed to be really good for containers. And the birds have already pretty much decimated it. But there are some berries on her. Every year I think to myself I need to put some kind of bird netting, and I totally forget, so that's where we're at on that. I still need to put some containers together, my Mother's Day pot from last year, and then this is just a heuchera that I potted up that I had a container up there. I do really like these dark colored heucheras, and so I did keep it, and I just gotta decide where to put it. These do a lot better for us in containers than they do in the ground, so likely what I'm gonna do is find a shady area and make a container out of those two in a hosta. Here we've got our garlic bed, looking great. Planted this garlic last year. Really excited about it. It is doing really well. I have an amazel basil here. It doesn't look like that because the plant's doing poor, but I have been eating a lot of basil, and so there it is. Today Jackson came home with a strawberry plant from school. It's that stick there. It looked very dry when I got it, but we planted it and we'll see how that works. This is our chives from last year. In this bed today, I did plant some cosmos seeds, and here are our ranunculus. Looking really, really great. Their foliage is great and I'm really impressed with them. Here is a weed. But I don't see any flowers. I don't know how long they take to flower. I have never grown these before, so please comment below if you know. I do still need to pot up this pot. This is our blueberry bush that we don't actually get any blueberries on. I do need to put it in the ground. This year, instead of doing some kind of production vine, I wanted a vine on here that would really grow up it and be beautiful, that didn't have to be replaced, because my windows to my house are up there. I wanted to be able to see something beautiful with a lot of beautiful color. And so I got these clematis for either side of the vine. And so far they're doing good. I do need to come up here and train them some more because these are so far apart, these like rungs. Here I am using some string to train them up, and it's working pretty well. They look pretty good, but we just need to continue to train them, and hopefully, you know, over time we'll have a beautiful arch. Try to turn slowly. In this bed we have started our squash seeds. I do have a video up about that. So different varieties of squash. The only one that I can see that didn't come up is the one that was right here. So we just need to go in with seeds. Unfortunately, because I don't mark them, I don't know which one I'm missing. So that's interesting. Or I may just pull one of these and put it down here since it's already germinated. This is an eggplant here. I started these from seeds. I started a whole bunch of different kinds of eggplant, and unfortunately I didn't do a good job of transplanting them out, so they suffered a little bit. But they are still making it, so that's good. This is my herb planter. This thyme is perennial for us. It just comes right back, looks beautiful. Rosemary, sage, and parsley there. Got more eggplant here. There's another eggplant there. This is looking very dry. I need to go run the drip. It's looking very sad. And then I've got jalapenos here and here. I did plant up a oregano. I do not today, and this was in a pot from the fall, and it is huge, so I want to plant it out in the landscape because I'd like it to become a full tree so that we could cut that for winter arrangements. This is where our yellow squash is, and it has not come up, so I definitely need to replant that one, and then I've got a random pot over here. So overall, everything is looking pretty good. I am struggling a little bit with this drip, so I do need to go figure out what's going on with it. I do need to run the drip because those plants look really, really dry. One of the things before I do these tours, I don't do anything out here. Some would call that real life. Of course it's real life, but I don't prep this at all. I do try to pick a time when the lighting's pretty good so you can see what's going on, but this is how my garden looks generally on a daily basis. It's just how it looks. So if you see weeds, it's because they're there, because I'm bad at weeding. So let's go over there to that bed. So as you can see, this is bordered by my driveway, right? And so when we bought this house, a lot of it is wooded, and we like that, but we keep edging out, or I keep edging out, more beds, more places to plant things. So when I got this tree last year, this was a blue spruce, and I knew I wanted it here because my house is basically orange. And I thought as you came around the corner at the beginning of the bed, the first thing you see would be beautiful, contrasted with the orange, to have a blue spruce. And I love it here, but the back of it is dead as a doornail. And I was really concerned this year about it. And then I got to see all this beautiful, fresh, bright blue-green foliage, and it made me super excited. I did do, and I will put a video up about this, the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry here again, and then most of our perennials have come back. I did lose our forsythia. I put in some seeds for some grasses to use for cutting here, because this is just dead space. But unfortunately, there was an incident with a trailer backup, but we did miss the tree, so that's good. So we've got these in here. I also put in hollyhock seeds, and I haven't checked on them in a while, and it has gotten hot. So I don't know how many have survived, but there's a hollyhock. There's 1, 3, 4. So they're still making it. Again, this was the back of the bed, so I thought it would be fun to put some hollyhocks in here. I've never grown hollyhocks before, so I thought that would be fun. Got some coneflower that came back. Daylilies looking great, they came back. We're just past prime on these Munstead wood roses. They were gorgeous. I did put some stories up on my shorts. The stakes back there are for more hollyhocks. Another rose there. I think that one has had its roots gnawed on because it's struggling a little bit. And then our Veronica here looking really, really good. Very excited about these blooms. So this is a perennial forest that's come back. We haven't lost any yet, but it is not buried. I struggle with voles really bad in here, so I tend to bury things in a cage, and I did not bury that in a cage, so I'm just really impressed that it's come back. Here is our limelight hydrangea, looking really, really good. I planted some, this is some celosia here, very, very tiny, you can barely see it. And then we've got some iris that I put in as well. These are Firmament, Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. This is the thing that got eaten the most by the voles, and it was the daisies, the Shasta daisies. But I did buy a couple more. I will bury them in cages so that they don't do that again, because I love this plant. It's a powerhouse and it's beautiful. It has been very cool this spring, and I think that's why everything is just taking forever to take off. This kind of blank spot is where I planted all my poppy seeds, and I planted a whole bunch. If you saw that video, I planted a ton. I don't know if it's just all weeds or I just didn't have much success, but you see these holes, like we've got a serious vole problem. This looks like it's poppy plant to me, so hopefully it is, and if so, I've got a handful, 5 or 10 or so. Back here, we've got all of our sunflowers that have popped up looking fantastic. Very excited about them. I could take this bird netting off of them. It is only there to prevent them from eating it before it germinates. They've germinated so they can be removed. Our hibiscus has come back. I transplanted a bunch of lilies, any of the lilies that I found in our yard. This I transplanted a while ago. The other 3 that are kind of droopy I transplanted today. So they live right there. And then all of the marigolds that we started from seed are right here. We are traveling from the driveway. We're on the grass. This is the bed that we created together. So it's mostly empty. However, there are a few really great spots in it, things that I've added. It takes a while to fill up a bed this size. So, bear with me. I do have a mushroom problem. Got more iris there. Along the back, these are all endless summer hydrangeas. This is a very borderline part sun, part shade spot. They suffer every day. I water them every day and they suffer every day. So I'm gonna move these over here because I have a whole line back there. I'm gonna have a hedge there. They're looking a little sad right now. And I'm going to put little limes in here, which will be the right size, but they'll tolerate the sun a little better. I made a video on making these containers today, but this is where these containers went. They are hooked up on drip. It is Supertunia Bordeaux and red geraniums. I love that color contrast. I love red in the garden. Really like super saturated colors in my garden. This is my pocket of hostas. I would like to extend it all the way out here with some lamium, and then again all the way down to here. So let's back up a little bit. So I've got some more plants in my plant hoard right now. So we want to maintain, we need to mulch again, but we want to maintain a pathway here, this being the edge of the pathway, because we need it to be wide enough that my kids' Power Wheels can go through. And then beside the pathway, we're going to do lamb's ear to kind of make it, and then we'll have fresh mulch in the middle. And then to this side of the lamb's ear, we want to do hostas all the way across. And to this side, I haven't decided what I want to do, but something else. And I probably also want to put 3 on each side of this Rudbeckia. I think that'd be really pretty, especially with these pots, but we'll see if this gets enough sun for all that. I do have some Rudbeckia that I need to divide, so this is part of the place it would go. I do want to, and probably will, that one looks like the voles might be eating it. Let me show you. I want to go through here. This looks like a vole ate this, which it wasn't thriving anyhow. No, it's still pretty well rooted. Let's see. No, it's got some good roots on it. I love these hostas. Some of them are transplants, some of them are ones that I've put in the ground in the last year or two, especially these bright green. Really pops back here in the shade and really contrasts the blue and the red of this Japanese maple. So I'm thinking about digging everything up, dividing it all really heavily so that I have enough hostas to stretch out this way and back to the back. So it just needs to be wall-to-wall hosta and maybe some lamium underneath it to cover the dirt. I particularly love this hosta as well. That weed is unnecessary. This Japanese maple, I got this 2 years ago for Mother's Day or my birthday or something, and the top died out of it and I cut it back, but it's putting on a lot of green growth, or a lot of new growth, and that bright red growth, and it's looking really good. So maybe it's recovering from whatever was bothering it, unless you know why the leaves are doing that. But it's looking pretty good. What is eating it? Huh, interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. You know, maybe it'll bounce back, maybe it won't. They're just plants, they can be replaced. At a price, of course, but they can be replaced. So, this is a bank of astilbe. When I put these in the ground, it was super hot and I didn't give them any water. And so 4 out of 5 making it, I'm actually super impressed with that. So it'll be interesting to see how well these do. I would like, again, when these get a little bit larger, for us to be able to divide them and make a nice big drift of them. Here is the bank of hydrangeas. They had a lot of green growth on them, and then we got a late cold snap and it took all that green growth. So they're coming back from the ground looking good, and this is where I'll put those other 3 hydrangeas. And we're just gonna continue on. Eventually, this whole back will be a hedge of hydrangeas, and then we won't see all the stuff behind them. So that will be really beautiful. That's the idea anyhow. The camellia, however, did not make it through. It doesn't seem like the cold snap. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Look at that fresh green growth. I take it back, camellia. And there's a bud over here. So once this thing buds all the way out, we can cut back anything dead, but I have definitely learned my lesson on this guy. I do need to come cover him. One of the things that I've wanted to do since I created this bed is do something with the corner. And so the other day I planted it up with some red begonias. I love red in the garden. I love super saturated colors because they pop out here where things can be a little shadier. And I also have a climbing hydrangea that I still need to attach to the tree. I put one here and one over here. So eventually I want to make another bed on this side as well. So if we step back and look at it, sorry it's so shaky, y'all. I do need to charge my gimbal really bad. There'll be a pathway so that you can go into the woods, but then there'll be some beds here. But I added these caladiums to contrast the white, contrasting the bright red and the somewhat dark foliage there. And that climbing hydrangea eventually can go all the way up the tree and be just gorgeous. I also would like to get some tree brackets and hang some ferns from some of these trees. Now, let's turn this way and go look at the front of the house. I've been changing up these beds. So always on the other side there was a bed and I thought it looked kind of off center. So I cut out this bed and used my weed blowtorch to burn everything in it. I need to come back in with drip. I think I'm gonna do a line of some Limetta hydrangeas because they get 4x4 and just have a nice hedge around the house of Limetta hydrangeas. So we can do on this side, and then I pulled everything from the other bed, so it's looking very sparse at the moment, but A, I'm gonna have to special order and get my hands on those plants, and B, I'm just not ready for them. Right here in the beginning of the season, I like to get all of my production stuff going that has to have time to grow to create stuff, and then I start worrying about the ornamentals a little bit more. I do put my annuals in though. So here is my row of pots. I did Supertunia Vista Jazzberry again. I wanted to do the Jazzberry multiple places this year to have continuity. I love these plants. I loved them last year. They are on drip. I loved these plants last year, but I also wanted some continuity this year. I like that, again, these are super saturated plants. I think they're gonna look really great up here. This bed here, for the most part, is doing really well. I took to chopping back my lamb's ear. I will never do that again because it is very sparse over there. I need to dig this clump up, divide it, and move it over. But the real reason I wanted to get out here right now is to show you these peonies because they are in their glory and they won't last long before I have to chop them down because they're just holding on to the plant so much. This is the third year for these David Austin roses and they're doing wonderfully. I have not even fertilized them yet because I forgot, but look at all the buds on them. So many buds. And look at this flower. It is just incredible. Will the camera focus? Of course it won't focus. See if I can do it now. Yes. Look at that flower. Incredible. And I've had several. I need to come out here and deadhead it actually before they start making rose hips. But these look the best they've ever looked. I'm really excited about them. This is my other peony. I do think they might be different varieties. I didn't think that in the beginning, but I do think they might be. And she's looking beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. But I do need to divide my lamb's ear and fix this. I do need to also mulch, but that's another story. Here we've got some more Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. I mean, these flowers are just super saturated and gorgeous. Like, just so gorgeous. So let's go down the stairs. The hosta bed, looking its absolute prime. Again, I do think that that it is too full sun for them here. Let's move this camp chair out of the way. But when you come up here in May and the hostas are in their prime and I've weeded them, they look great. I will do a better job of grooming them this year, but this hosta bed is just so lush and beautiful, and that's kind of what I'm going for over there. But I did do my Pamela Crawford planter again in all Supertunia Vista Jazzberry, and it's already filling a lot, but it won't be long before it's just two giant globes of beautiful flowers. So today, and I made a video about this, I planted up these containers. I am still missing my black sweet potato vine for these, but I saw an inspiration for these, and again, because they just planted, they don't look like much right now, but it is a redhead coleus, some red begonias, and then there's 2 diamond frost euphorbia, and then there'll be 3 black sweet potato vines. I'm gonna make sure that I train them in a way so that you can still see the sweet potato vine, because by the end of the summer, this will just be a glob of plants. And I thought about just doing maybe 1 container here instead of 4, like, look at my hoard of trash. But I need, or 5, but I need this grouping for the scale. I do need to put something over here. So y'all comment above where you think I should put something. So let's move to finish up at the production garden. This is my plant hoarder. It's getting fairly cleared out, which means we need to buy more plants. My kids hate it when I say that. So back here in the production garden, let's stand back a little bit because it looks great. I wanted to have something to demarcate where was pathway. Straw was my best option, but my weed suppression leaves something to be desired, and my drip's not working. So each one of these bags is a dahlia tuber. A lot of them have come up. A lot of them have. So they look really good. Really happy to see that green growth on them. This strip here is cut flower in the leg. So the vast majority of it is, I just planted seeds for zinnias, and then I've got a stretch for ornamental basil for cutting, and then I've got my snapdragons here, and then some bachelor's buttons in the middle. The potatoes are looking really good in their grow bags. However, something ate through this grow bag. I was hoping that wouldn't be an issue because they're in bags, but there was a hole right there, so I think something's eating them. But the potatoes, every other bag has at least one coming up. The sweet peas right there, doing good. That back there is a Dara, but it's looking sketch. The other thing is some of these plants, I don't know what their leaves look like, so I'm hesitant to weed because I don't know what's weeds and what's plants. So this is not planted yet. This is the only one that's not planted. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put here. This is green beans. Again, I just planted them the other day, so nothing has come up yet. And again, I'm having issues with my drip, so I'm concerned about. This is a very weedy patch of onions. Very weedy patch of onions. So I need to come out here. I got one of those hula hose, and I'm gonna come out here and just try to handle business. What's interesting is I also have some tomatoes coming up from last year, so I need to pull those as well. But need to do something about these weeds out here. But the onions are looking pretty good. This is my patch of lettuce. Small patch of lettuce, that's really all you need. I have cut off this corner. I will cut some more today. Lettuce is just such a beautiful crop. It grows super fast. It's easy to grow, very rewarding. Then we've got some kale that I've been cutting and using as baby kale, spinach that I've been cutting and using as baby spinach, some cilantro, which I need to cut some and dry cilantro, and all of this stuff is stuff that will bolt pretty easily, so we are limited on that. These are special varieties of lettuce that I specifically spaced out so that I can let them head up, because I've never done that and I want to see how that works. And these, again, were special varieties, so it'll be interesting to see what those are like. We've got some dill down here that, again, we need to dry some of. Dill is another thing that will bolt. And then we've got all of our tomato plants. They're spaced really close together. However, it's all different varieties. Some of them heirlooms, some of them not. My 2 tomatillo plants. Some are in here for production, some are in here for specific flavors. Same thing along this back row here. It's all tomatoes as well. And in front of that, in the space that's not being taken up, I've got celery. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 celery plants out here. This year, I decided to do T-posts and this fencing. I've seen people use cattle panels. The fencing was actually cheaper. And I think it'll be plenty supportive enough to hold it, but that way we can stake all of our tomatoes to it and grow them vertically. I did the same thing here because here we've got black-eyed peas and then cucumbers and then butternut squash. All of it to grow vertically. And then I also planted in front of this some short, like 20-inch sunflower seeds all the way down to take whatever of that space. I could plant something right here as well. Take advantage of that space. In here, you see all the T-posts that go halfway up. It's because it's our corn. We're actually going to use twine on the T-posts to stake those up this year because last year I lost all my corn in a windstorm and it was devastating. So corn, and then the other side of that is okra. Again, need to weed. I do love the way the straw looks. I don't think it's suppressing enough weeds for my liking. Again, this is a temporary space, so, you know, it gets the job done, kind of. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. So anyhow, that's gonna be it for me in this video. I just wanted to give you guys a look around of what things are looking like in May. Some things looking really great, some things looking really weedy, some things needing some water. Sorry about all the shakiness of the video. I will go try charge my gimbal. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Bye.